Some days we're progressing so fast, we're all pumped up, we're so eager for the next stage. And then all of a sudden we seem to hit a brick wall. We don't know what hit us, something somewhere just jammed on the brakes and we're just stuck. And most of the time we're stuck in the past where it's so comfortable, even though it's terrible and you don't want to go back, it's comfortable. It's like dragging yourself out of bed at 4 a.m. and it's snowing outside. And it's so much better, so much nicer to stay under the warm, comfortable, fluffy duvet. But this duvet of the past is suffocating you, is keeping you there. So in this video, we're going to explore how and why we're stuck and how to clear the blockages so we can move forward. There are many reasons, why we get stuck. I know I get stuck when I think about the past. Sometimes it's painful, and for some reason, I find comfort in the pain of the past. I don't know why, okay? Don't ask me. Because it's familiar. It feels like home. And sometimes I think of the good times in the past, which weren't necessarily good. And that is also to do with comfort. That's also to do with familiarity. I also find comfort in thinking of a fake past where people were fake, friends were fake, people who pretended that they cared for me or that they loved me. And I'm sometimes caught in that time trap, which keeps me stuck there. Because, obviously not every day is rainbows and unicorns. There are times when we're not feeling that great. And that's when we get even more stuck, because that's when our mind goes back to the past and in a warped way, in a strange way, wish to be back in that time, even though we don't want to go back there. And yet we sometimes let our mind control us to pull us back, because at that time it felt good. At that time, even fake people felt good. People who pretended to care for you felt real. And that's why sometimes we go back there. When we're stuck in the past, we are still carrying this energy, and then we bring it with us in our daily lives. We bring it with us to the future. And then the same scenario goes on over and over, repeating itself like Groundhog Day. And, this is where we just have to tell ourselves to put a stop to it. It's tempting to go back to a comforting past, even though it's not real, even though that it wasn't actually good for you. Now, the other reason we get stuck is we get stuck in analysis paralysis. Some of us intellectualize everything and we analyze things to death. Why did it happen? Why did it happen to me? How did it happen? Why did I get manipulated? How did, all the whys and the hows and everything. I'm not saying that we choose to get stuck in the past. No, what I'm saying is that sometimes we get stuck in this analysis. And that's when we have to just cut it off. That's when they say, look, just take a break. Take a break for a while. We don't have to analyze everything to death. Some analysis is good, obviously. Otherwise, you'll be asleep. Like them. No, you're awake. You are conscious. You are very conscious. But in this consciousness, there is a danger of over-analyzing. So just remind yourself to take a break and then come back to it later. Go do something fun. Go meet up with a friend. And then come back to it later. Don't let it overwhelm you. I know it lets me overwhelm me when I start analyzing. Sometimes I don't know when to stop. Sometimes I put the alarm on. I say, look, you are only permitted to analyze for 1 hour or half an hour, no more. After that, you are going to go out to the garden, you're going to do some pruning, you're going to do some raking or whatever planting, watering, painting, wash the car, anything to break this analysis paralysis, because it can get mentally crippling. Now, the third reason we can be caught in this time trap is because we have outgrown our previous life. We have outgrown certain people, we've outgrown friends, except sometimes we're not fully aware of it because they don't evolve with us. They stay where they are. Some people stay in the same place their whole lives. Now, I'm not judging them. I'm not judging it. This is not a hierarchy. So when I talk about levels, when I talk about evolving to a higher level, I mean a spiritually higher level. I don't mean that we are better than them or they are less than us. Some people are not meant to evolve. Some people don't want to evolve. So when we evolve spiritually, it's very hard to leave the past behind. If there was a history, if there was 20, 30, 40, even 50 years of history, and suddenly you find that you've awakened and you're progressing every day, climbing up from one level to another, it's hard to leave the past because that's all we've known. And we're reluctant to leave it. Humans are hardwired for comfort. All humans seek comfort. And it's sad to see the people that we're leaving behind just don't want to follow us. You're in a transit lounge about to board a plane to somewhere in this kind of no man's land where you're neither here nor there, and that feels very uncomfortable because it's not literally so obviously a transit lounge, but you're in a spiritual transit lounge which you cannot see, hear or touch. You can only feel, and it feels uncomfortable because you are in between one spiritual level and another. And sometimes we're also stuck because we want to encourage our friends and family to come with us because we've discovered this whole new world, this whole new level, which is so much more rewarding and so much richer than the one we were before. So obviously, we want to tell them something that we know. We want to, excitedly tell them, hey, there's this new place, come with me. But it's rare that someone will follow us because this is your personal journey. The whole point of this is that it has to be a solo journey to begin with, until you find your soul tribe, until you find people of the same spiritual level. Until you find people of the same spiritual level, you are going to be alone. It is a solo journey for now. Sometimes we're stuck in the good old days, of past achievements, the glory days. And there's no way we can recreate those days. Like, for example, if I was a world-class athlete at the age of 19 or 20, there is no way I can go back there when I'm 50 or 60. And that is just torturing ourselves. This is why most older people, and I am qualified to say this because I am older people, most older people say that I'm still young at heart. Of course we're young at heart. The spirit doesn't deteriorate like the body does. The spirit, our soul, is not affected by time, except to grow wiser maybe. Even that I'm not sure, because I think that our souls are always wise. All souls are wise. It's a matter of discovering our soul. It's a matter of acknowledging it. So if we live too much in the material world, we'll be affected by degeneration. Everything in the material world degenerates, but our soul doesn't.